Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 3 of BIPL Season 4. Um, we've got some cracking matches coming up this
Oh
evening.
yeah.
It all comes to a stunning conclusion, or so we hope. I guess very quickly, all players are ready, so we'll brush through this quickly. We'll bring up the current standings, the current leaderboard, and we have maybe, shall we say, an unfamiliar name at the top of the standings, Padster.
I think that's fair to say. You know, this is the first edition of BIPL that jdon has played in. This is only the second, BITM regional event that he's played in, and he's winning it right now. And he got some pretty nasty opponents out the way last week. He beat Wizzy and he beat Epos. You know, two names who have both been to World Championships before. These are scary, scary names, and jdon managed to eke out wins against both of them quite confidently against Wizzy.
Yeah.
So this coming up match may well be the decider because the person with the second best record right now is Hendo, only one loss to his name. And he is now playing against jdon. It is jdon, Hendo, and Boz. So this could define everything. This could be the decider.
Yeah, they're all in the top 4. This match will change a lot. If jdon wins, beating both Hendo and Boz, I would say that paves the way for him to be ultimately victorious. It would have to be a complete disaster in his final match, which is going to be against Reno Fella, Koza, and Linksy. So you would imagine, having beaten stronger competition, that should be a walkover in round 5. However, if Hendo wins, I would say that he becomes the prime contender, along with Epos, who is also on the same number of points, has to play Wizzy in round 4. We will be covering that match on stream after this one. And Boz, Boz had the comeback of all comebacks in Encore. Can he repeat history again in BIPL in the final 2 matches? That will remain to be seen. Liffey, we haven't talked about him because he is not present in this match, so it is a 3-player fight to the death, essentially. And it will likely determine the eventual winner of BIPL Season 4.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there could still be surprises in the coming matches. It's still possible. I mean, jdon has Linksy after this, I believe so, who, did beat Boz, almost beat Hendo, probably should have beat Hendo, if you were to ask him. So, that could go either way. But this is going to be such a decided match. I really can't call how it's going to go. Even last week, I predicted jdon to cause an upset, and I was correct. I got nothing for this week. I'm sorry, no wisdom this time.
I mean, jdon's been on the ascendancy, though. We talked about him in week 1 as a potential dark horse because, we have the old guard, the old experience of Boz, Epos, Acros, Hendo, Wizzy. jdon has really kind of risen through the ranks in the past year to 18 months. I believe you said in week 1 also had a really good showing in EMC, performed really well in Encore as well, as far as my memory serves me. And this could be the time for him that he does actually take that step further and cement himself into British and Irish Trackmania history here.
Yeah, for sure. We've only had 4 people who have won in the 7 events we've run in the past.
Yep. Is it even 4? Boz, Epos, Wizzy...
Pack.
Oh, Pack, I guess.
Go all the way back.
Season 1,
to the
all
very
the way
first
back.
BIPC.
Sure. But was it the Boz won BIPL 1, 2, and 3? Is that right?
Yep. He coming into this season, he'd never lost a match in BIPL, and he's now lost 2, which is quite a stat. But
do we know, by the way? Did we find out if he's on mouse or pad?
I believe he's on mouse, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, that would be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I know it switched to pad initially to try and help with lands, but well, I mean, when I saw him at XP he was driving using a mouse, so
fair enough.
Maybe he's committed back to it.
Yeah, I mean, he was driving well on pad, like played BIPC and narrowly lost out to Wizzy playing on pad, but then obviously switched to back to mouse for Encore, and we all know what happened there. But regardless of input device, Boz is a formidable player, and when
Oh
he's
yeah.
well trained on his day, there's not a lot of people, I mean, in the world really, let alone in BIPL that can beat him. But jdon feels like a real contender. Hendo as well. I don't think we've talked enough about Hendo, who's been consistently performing throughout British and Irish Trackmania events, but has never quite taken that final step onto the top step of the podium.
Yeah, and this is definitely the best chance he'll have to do it, because Boz has kind of been put out of position at the table, having taken 2 losses already. You know, one to Linksy and one to Epos, of course. If Hendo can beat jdon here, maybe even finishing behind Boz, it could happen. But he still is gonna need a lot of luck, and I still don't even think that works out well. He'd realistically have to win this match, and he's not kicked that off very well, it has to be said.
No, round 1.
0.4 down.
Round 1 on Mimes map, Fugila, jdon and bozbez. Within half a tenth, bozbez with a good drift could just snipe it, but jdon holds firm, 53.9. Excellent time there to start things off. Hendo driving a good round, but ends up 0.6 off that blistering pace set by the 2 front runners.
Yeah, some quick times initially.
See if jdon and bozbez can maintain that pace. I wouldn't say that Hendo drove a particularly bad round, but jdon and Boz driving a very strong one. I think it was the bug slide that put Hendo firmly at the back, but jdon getting it best this time. Boz in second place, Hendo on the inside. Boz should come back with more speed here, and they should be tied. All 3 players tied pretty much as we go into the reactor grass section. jdon dropping back a little bit, Hendo full sending and getting a good line. Boz maybe coming back with a little bit more speed here. All to play for. jdon has dropped back by about half a tenth, so it's now between Hendo and Boz. Hendo showing that he can drive that pace that jdon and Boz were putting up in the previous round, and we'll see who takes it at the flag.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I think Boz will have it here. Oh, has to drift right at the end, but it seems to work out well. As he still drives a sub 54, which is a very respectable time.
Yeah,
Hendo
almost
in second, far better that time round than previous round, and jdon having a great time.
I mean, that was a near identical time to round 1 there. This time it was jdon that had a few mistakes and fell even further back, getting a no slide on that last drift, but Hendo showing that he can put the rounds in when it matters. But so far, 2 solid rounds from Boz, 1 solid round and 1 shaky round apiece from Hendo and jdon. And we are halfway through this map already, round 3 of 4 before we go on to our next map. And the first half of the map seems to be pretty equal for everyone. Hendo has a really good reactor section here, but then loses out slightly on speed. You can see jdon just catching up and might have a little bit more speed there. Goes a bit more left to grab that downhill a bit earlier. See who gets the outside dirt better. jdon with that little brake tap, but it's still Hendo out in front. Boz falling a bit further back. Does everyone get the drift this time? jdon had that no slide before. Boz going more inside. Has to release, though, and they end 1, 2, 3. Another 53.9. This time it's Hendo in the lead, but there's no signs yet that one player in particular is faltering or one player in particular is excelling. It's very, very even so far over the first 3 rounds.
I would agree with it being very, very even, as we end up on 83 points for every single player.
There we go. Look at that.
You could not have had a close start.
No.
Oh, Boz.
Speech bubble moment.
Someone clip that about... Right, Boz is seemingly out of this round. He just needs to focus on trying to finish at this point. Timeout isn't that aggressive, so he should be absolutely fine. It's now a good chance for jdon.
jdon's dead.
I was going to say jdon or Hendo to capitalize. I see which one it's going to be. jdon fails that jump. We've seen 2 incredibly strange mistakes on this track. Those are not places I expect to see people crashing.
3 great rounds and 1 where everything explodes.
Yeah.
Apart from Hendo. I imagine Hendo is probably safing, though. I don't think we're going to see a 53.9 here. I'd more imagine maybe like a 54.3, something like that. Oh, never mind.
He didn't listen.
Never mind.
Hendo doesn't really care what everyone else is up to. 53.9. Job done. So Hendo comes out of his first map looking very good as Boz states there is a very tricky star precision. Oh dear. Not his finest moment, but is definitely being speech bubbled.
Yeah. Unfortunate mistake there from Boz. Seemed pretty consistent throughout the first 3 rounds. I think that was just kind of a blip rather than a mistake that we're going to be seeing, or just a careless mistake is what I'm trying to say. So points-wise, Hendo on 81, jdon on 77, Boz on 74. It's essentially like we've only played 1 round, really, because they were all tied after 3. So Hendon. Yes, Hendon.
We're doing well today.
Yes, Hendo, as opposed to Stag Do, with a very marginal lead, but can evaporate very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think there's really too much to read in from that outside of the fact that everyone looks very equal on Fugila. It's probably the oddest of the tracks we have this season, and it's coming back into rotation, having not been used in week 2, so players might be a little less practice, so it's probably the one we can read into least about how this match is going to go. But it's still looking equal, and Mr. Setti, at the start of today, jdon was world record holder on it.
Okay, I assume he's not now, by the way you phrased that.
No, Epos is now world record holder, having set the world record 43 minutes ago, and Hendo set the 3rd fastest time just 2 hours ago. So Hendo has some good pace on here. Boz hasn't set a time on it since last week's matches. So
has Boz been offline practicing though?
Oh, he never practices online, let's be honest.
Yeah, I did think.
So I don't really know who is going to come in with good pace. If I checked the scores yesterday, I would have said, well, jdon's pace looks very good, but the gap between him and Hendo is less than 100th of a second in terms of world record pace, but who can do it consistently? It's not Boz.
No. I was just going to say, I was thinking back to their match last week, Boz and Epos, which was so close on this map. But Boz did make a few careless mistakes. I think, didn't he get one really bad no slide at one point that cost him a round? I feel like I remember that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there was definitely a few little mistakes on this map from Boz, and we've seen another one there. Boz on precision again, falling foul there. Hendo has a 2/10 advantage over jdon as we go into the latter stages of the map. Final couple of drifts coming up here. Oh, jdon having to release a little bit there. Hendo has it in the bag, but he's gone straight into the wall. Seemed infallible right until the end, and he's gifted jdon the win there.
Yep.
Oh dear.
That has not gone well for Hendo there. We're just seeing all the strangest mistakes this game. This is very, very odd. But that does leave jdon and Hendo tied on points once more. With bozbez now 10 points behind, which isn't where he tends to usually be. No, he's got the experience. He could probably bring it back. He just needs to iron out the handful of mistakes he's been making.
The fact we're missing Liffey as well just makes it that little bit more punishing. Like, you know, a small clip maybe as, Boz Airlines has taken off. Yeah, it just makes it more punishing because any mistake, you're not going to have that player potentially, 6 seconds back where you can go, okay, I've clipped, but I can still finish 3rd, and it's not a huge point loss. Whereas the 3-player format is not benefiting anyone here. As Boz, another big mistake, 5 seconds back. It's going to be another, is it -10 or -9? Is it 10?
It'll be -9.
-9, but still, another maximum point loss. And the gap's widening here. jdon back into the lead of the match on 73. Hendo falling down to 2nd place now on a very nice 69. But Boz on 56. Not going great for Boz here. He has kind of dropped off with 2 quite careless mistakes.
Yeah, they all look very strange. It's just... It's not like trying to, you know, max corners or something. It's just been making mistakes on precision and ending up on the wrong bit of track. I'm not sure if it's just a sign of not being fully cracked or being in his own head a bit. I'm not sure what exactly it'll be. But he's made it a lot further this round, and he is in the lead. Gives him a good opportunity to try and win some of these points back that he has been dropping to jdon and Hendo.
Yeah,
Not
this is a
too much of a track left to go. Very close.
Oof. I was going to say it's a much stronger round from Boz, but he got the reactor line all wrong and had to actually brake on the grass just to kind of bug slide round it. I fear he's made a bigger mistake there as well, as jdon once again in the lead. I think that's 3 out of 3 for jdon. Like, one of them was gifted to him by Hendo, sure, but jdon 3 out of 3 here on Mr. Seti, and he's really pulling out a lead now.
Yeah, we've seen the same result 3 times here on Mr. Seti.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which map is most likely to be one where the players end up on last chance. Of course, all the numbers work out slightly differently with a 3-player match. But with the rate points have been lost, it could well be here. It could well be here, or possibly the map after once we've cycled round. As we've seen yet another mistake from Boz. He hasn't had a single clean round here on Mr. Seti.
Yeah, that's very concerning and very unlike Boz as well. Like, yes, sometimes he does make a mistake, as all great players do, but 4 in a row, very uncharacteristic from Boz. And it looks like it's going to be finishing in the same order again, unless jdon makes a mistake at the end. Hendo is pushing as hard as he can, and he is catching, but not catching quite enough. It's 12 thousandths over the line. jdon holds on for another jdon Hendo bozbez 1, 2, 3. And that will be jdon into A. C goes into the next map on 69 points with Hendo on 57. 12-point lead over Hendo. Boz, I didn't see what the points were, but he's far back now and is...
He's really far back.
Really far
38.
back, yeah. 31 points behind jdon. So even in the event that he's able to actually overtake Hendo, who historically has performed better in the first half of matches relative to the second, if he's able to overtake Hendo, I think jdon is gone. jdon is in the distance here. The alternative scenario that plays out is jdon could have an absolute stinker here on Bottle of Water, and Hendo could maybe catch back up. I don't know. jdon looks like he's in the groove now, right? And we saw this, I think it was week 1, where it was him and Acros, wasn't it? They were on very similar points, and then jdon just did not lose a round for God knows how long, and ended up with like 50 of his points remaining, while Acros was on or near to last chance.
Yeah, the match between those two looked so tight for so long, but yeah, in the second half, jdon absolutely ran away with it.
Yeah.
But that match, he didn't really look very focused in the early phase. You know, there were kind of a lot of mistakes creeping out, and although the pace was there, the consistency wasn't. After that, he just looked very consistent. This time round, he's looked a lot more consistent from the get-go. You know, 4 round wins in a row. Sure, 1 gifted to him and 1 by, you know, the skin of his teeth. But I reckon he comes into this one in a good position to try and continue that lead.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be feeling confident. He's top of the leaderboards, and he's in first place in a match that if he wins, it should cement his place at the top of the leaderboard come the matches being all finished today in Division 1. So holding his nerve, putting the pressure on his 2 challenges here. Obviously, he's already beaten Epos, so that contender has been dealt with. But doing everything right, looking sublime. We haven't really seen any big mistakes from jdon. I think maybe 1 on Mime's map, and apart from that, it's looked almost infallible. This is a much closer round, though. Jdon losing a little bit of speed and will drop down to third place. Boz very close to the wall there, but doesn't touch and might move into first place.
Oh.
Hendon? I keep saying Hendon.
Hen-
Who is
Who's
Hendon?
Hendo?
His name is Hendo. For God's sake. Ugh. Anyway, 2 players sliding out. Boz, not one of them, and might actually get a round win here after finishing the last 3 rounds in last place.
Yeah, lot of mistakes from Boz, but this time round, he's the only one to avoid it, and it sets a reasonable time at 59.3. We've seen that as a round-winning time, kind of in these upper Div 1 matches quite consistently, so...
Do you know what it is? I've realised? I'm like mashing Hendo and Jdon together and saying Hendon. It could be worse. I could be pulling a newer, but I would never do that.
True. Oh, balls!
Boss! Sorry. I shouldn't laugh at that. Oh, no.
It's...
Yep, tree. Oh, dear. He's not having a good day, is he, Padster? Like...
No, he's just... It just looks like he's not really in the match at all. He's still got a pace on the rounds where he doesn't make mistakes, but most of the mistakes he's made, you know, sure, some have been on tougher parts of the track where you'd expect to see it. But that's the second one where it's just been, you know, the first 3 seconds of a track where you're just driving and he's just driven off it. I don't quite know how he's done that.
Yeah. I mean, it just does feel like an unforced error, right? It's not like he's fighting for first or really pushing, risking. He's just not got it right. Basically, he's slightly too wide of where he needs to be, and when we're talking about someone like Boz, we just don't expect that from him at all. Like, we know how good of a player he is. He has the accolades, he has the championships, the British titles, but to see a performance like this, it's very, very uncharacteristic. So I don't want to sound like I'm being too harsh on him, but it's just the player that we've come to expect, which is the reason why we're so kind of shocked at the performance that we're seeing.
Sure. You know, he's usually so just consistent and fast. Not usually an easy way past him unless you're just going to be even faster and even more consistent. But this time, he has some pace, but just make mistakes. This round, though, in the lead, looking a bit more comfortable. Past the easy bits of a track, where you'd expect people not to make mistakes, so maybe by this backward logic he has, this is where he's going to do well. Enters the dirt section ahead, looks like a line fairly equal with Jdon. It's going to come to this tech. Jdon tends to be seen as a very, very good tech player. Doesn't quite make the difference up though, and Boz will hold on by next to nothing.
What a round. They were so close throughout that entire round. 6,000ths at the line. It looked like Jdon might be able to catch up with that drift there. Was slightly wider and was able to carry more speed through. Got that earlier landing as well on that last drop down. And had that finish line been placed a couple of millimeters further, I think Jdon would have got it. So great round there from Jdon and Boz. Boz showing us what he's capable of. And this is, as I say, what we expect from him. So incredibly disheartening that he hasn't been able to put those kind of rounds together as often as we're usually seeing from him. Is into another good start here, though. Jdon dropping back slightly. It's about 2/10 as we go through the ring checkpoint with this reactor. Hendo putting together a good round as well, as he was previously, but I think just at that reactor clipped slightly or maybe got a gear down and ended up dropping back. Nobody going to be touching the outside here. Hendo and Boz very close. Anyone going to slide out? No, it's another close round. This time it's Boz and Hendo. Hendo into a slightly... Boz maybe has the speed advantage. And Boz, what is he doing? Zigzagging all over the place. Hits the pole. And once again, Boz down into third place.
Yep, Hendo forced to go to the safe finish, but... not Hendo, sorry, Jdon. Why do I keep getting these two confused? You passed on to me now.
I have. I've put it in your head.
Boz going to be lucky to finish by a matter of only a couple of seconds there. And every time he strings together a couple of good rounds, I'm like, is he going to get back into this match now? And he just doesn't seem to. It's really frustrating.
Boz down to 16 points here, which I think he survives. No, if he finishes third twice in a row, that will be last chance. He will survive 2 rounds with a third and a second. But, I mean, the gap now is, what, 19 points to Hendo, 29 points to jdon. Kind of feels insurmountable. We said this in Encore as well, and he produced one of the greatest comebacks that I have seen in any esport, let alone Trackmania, and was ultimately champion there. This seems like a tall order. Like, in Encore, his performance was still good. It was small mistakes that were costing him rounds. This time, it just looks all over the place. I have not seen a boss like this in memory, really. I don't know why that might be, whether he's on a different input device, whether he just hasn't had the time to prac. I don't know. We're speculating. At the end of the day, it's between jdon and Hendo. The point difference is only 10. We were saying that jdon might actually kind of pull away a little bit, but Hendo has been keeping him keen here. Yeah, has definitely caught up, and I think that fight is still on and could go all the way to the end.
I hope so. I mean, as much as we've been kind of questioning what's been happening with Boz, I would like to give a mention to how well jdon and Hendo have been playing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they've both looked very fast, very consistent most of the time. Only 10 points between them, which with 3-player match isn't bad at all. And I reckon, you know, jdon does have an advantage at this point, but it's certainly not insurmountable, and it's certainly not impossible that Hendo could win this, and that would really spice up kind of the last set of matches, as I have no idea who would be going in as favourite to take the title then. Probably Hendo, but for now, we've just got to focus on what is in front of us, as jdon is focusing on a light pole.
I mean, he was focused on what was in front of him.
Yeah, a little too focused.
Yeah. But I mean, when we got to round 3 of this map on the first rotation, all the players were equal. So there's no clear favourite. There's no clear, like, last place here. I think it's just, you know, it's a consistency battle. And they're all equally consistent, inconsistent, however you want to look at it. Hendo, 53-9. Can absolutely bang in a 53-9, as he did on, I would say, 3 occasions on the first rotation. But
yeah,
jdon and Boz
kind of,
yeah,
regular on that pace.
Yeah,
yes, 53-9, 53-9, 53-9.
I think all of them drove 53-9s in the first rotation, if I'm right.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that is the time to beat. Just drive a 53-9 and you'll win the round, right?
Well, in theory, until someone else does at the same time. But for now, that's been a really good round for jdon. And with Boz finishing... sorry, that was a really good round for Hendo. And with Boz finishing second, that sliced the gap down to only 3 points. A gap that might go and open back up again here. As Hendo has made a mistake, drops 3 seconds behind, and it is Boz versus jdon at the front here.
Yeah, Hendo crashing just before the bug slide, which obviously then snowballed, cost him a lot of time. 4 seconds off Boz and jdon, who are putting together a very strong round until Boz decides to try and overwall for some reason that I'm...
Are you having an issue with his input device, or...? That was very weird.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I've been told in my ear that was a mouse bug. What is Boz do? I don't think Boz wants to be here. Something is telling me that Boz doesn't want to be here anymore. He's just let Hendo come second. Okay.
Well, I mean, at the end of this round, he will definitely be into last chance. And then, after that, if he does want to leave the match early, he can. But I mean, we have him in the lead right now.
Not for long. Oh, how has he done that?
He survived the light pole clip. How has that happened?
What? Okay, new line, I guess. I mean, yeah, he's in third now. He's going to be on last chance regardless. We'll see what kind of time jdon puts together here, because I guess now we turn our attention to his battle with Hendo. Hendo has reeled him in slightly, and Hendo's going to be reeling him in even more. Boz surely going to finish second now after that mistake. It could actually be even here between Hendo and jdon. It's going to be a 7-point swing. So both on 27 with Boz on last chance. And we're going to get quite the shootout here. And I'd say whoever comes out on top between jdon and Hendo has a very good chance of taking first place in Division 1. So huge ramifications here over the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, I mean, equal on points here. This is going to be so close for a pair of them. jdon not had a good map here at all, it has to be said.
I mean, neither has Hendo, though. Like, made that mistake round 1 before the bug slide. So they both have had wobbly rounds, but they've both also shown that they can drive a great pace when they need to. Right now, it's Boz driving a great pace, and, I mean, he does need to. I thought he was going to clip the light pole there. So close to it. He's going to have more speed here to try and pull up towards the back of jdon. Better line from Boz as well. He's going to narrowly overtake. Great outside dirt too. Boz, surely he doesn't no slide here. Does he still want to be here? Is he going to slow down and let the others take over? No, he's not. 54-0 from Boz. Stays alive. And as you say, jdon with the clip is going to lose 3 points to Hendo there.
Yeah, so Hendo now, you know, he started this map, I think 10 points behind and emerges 3 points in front. This has been a very, very good map for Hendo, a terrible map for jdon, and this could well be, you know, tournament defining as to who wins it. But we head now on to Mr. Seti, and this time we had 4 rounds with the exact same result. It was jdon from Hendo from Boz, and with where the points currently are, there's a decent chance Hendo and jdon could fall onto last chance here. So,
why would they fall onto last? Sorry, I'm not following. jdon won every round when we came to this map before.
Well, I think one of jdon or Hendo is likely to fall into it.
You see, on this map, I got you. I'm with you.
Yeah, on this map, just given as well, if Boz were to go out, as he did not look happy on this map at all, you know, you're going to be getting the like -4 and -8 point repetition. Yeah,
this is where it kind of started to all unravel for Boz. I think he was third in all 4 rounds. So he's going to have to really pull something magic out of the bag here if he wants to survive any longer and try and get one of jdon or Hendo onto last chance. jdon winning every round, Hendo second, but second is not going to be good enough at this point if he wants to beat jdon. Has a slim advantage, 3-point lead. jdon or Hendo probably goes on to last chance after, I don't know, what will the point swing will be 4 points with Boz still alive. Oh, is it 4 points with or without Boz still alive? I fail to remember.
Point swing between Hendo and jdon will be 4 points, but with regards to getting towards last chance, it'll be a bit further than that. But enough trying to guess what's going to happen. We now get to see as we get underway, and we see no super early mistakes on the start position. Boz with a very early lead, but not much has been decided yet at all. All 3 players absolutely neck and neck. Who gets this drift best? It looks like it's Hendo, actually. Boz doing well on the grass part, closing the gap again. Boz had an issue going around that corner last rotation, manages to avoid it this time, but Hendo with a reasonable lead now, about a 10th in front of jdon, who is his realistic opponent in this match. Boz still in second though, still not going to go out at the moment. 1 more drift for him, well, 2 more drifts for him to survive. There is the first one. And he makes it around the second. Is there going to be any clips here? No, but Boz is going to jump Hendo. And this is a complete reverse of everything we saw in the first rotation of this round.
This is the Boz that we were expecting to see, right? If Boz had played like this the whole match, we are looking at a completely different match. I'm going to say that, and he's going to completely mess up the precision and drive into something now, but Like, this is the boss that this is the boss we expect to see. And it's great that he's showing up now. It might still give us a grandstand finish because jdon is on 7 points. If jdon finishes last here, he actually ends up on a double last chance with Boz. So going from the lead of the match to potentially 3rd place overall, do the nerves start to set in a little bit for jdon here? We'll have to see. I mean, he moves into 1st place here and should have some good exit speed to try and challenge that lead for Boz. Hendo is currently 0.2 behind the pair of them. We'll see who gets the better turn on the reactor. jdon with a smoother entry carries the speed through, moves into 1st place here. Boz in 2nd, Hendo much further back. Boz is going to survive another round here, and it's going to be a -9 for Hendo. Boz hopefully doesn't make a mistake. jdon keeps it clean as well, gets that very important 1st place, just the -2 for him. Hendo is going to be down to only 4 points here. Boz, another safe round. 4 points for Hendo, 5 points for jdon. They could all end up on last chance here.
Yep. And if Boz wins round, they will all end up in last chance.
Yeah,
It's guaranteed at least one of Hendo or jdon will go on to it. So, yeah, pressure on all the players here. Boz from, I think he was 31 points back at one point from jdon. Now only 5 points behind.
Yeah, crazy.
And, you know, he's cleaned up his lines considerably, I think, here on Mississippi, you know. Not made any mistakes yet, as he really dabbles with giving me a massive, you know, cast to curse there. But keeps himself alive. He's going to need a little more pace though. He's about a 10th down from jdon, from the player he needs to overtake to survive. How much, you know, more time can he make up on this track? Is there going to be a mistake?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to make it. It seems too far. It's jdon's
jdon
clips! Oh,
Boz crashes! No one wants to win this match!
Boz had it! It was so easy. He could have full safed that, but... Oh, he's out. He is out. Boz on last chance. Did he know? I assume he didn't know that jdon had crashed. Felt like he had to full push it. And, I mean, jdon does drop down to last chance. And Hendo crucially wins that round. So, for jdon to win the match now... For jdon to win the match, it's 2 rounds in a row. Hendo just needs the 1.
Yeah, it's right down to the wire here. Hendo has looked a lot better in the second half of the match. It's kind of a flip of what we've expected in the past. You said Hendo can often look good in the first half of matches, jdon in the second. It's been completely reversed here. Hendo only needs to win 1 of the next 2 rounds, and I think it could happen, but jdon isn't going to go down without a fight. He's going to push for everything he has left. There's no point doing anything else at this point. The 2 players neck and neck, barely separated by 0.02 of a second there. jdon goes ahead. We're coming up to the tech section. jdon, a very good tech player, as Hendo gets an exceedingly poor drift, it has to be said. jdon is avoiding any mistakes, gets in for finish, and we go into a double last chance. This could well define everything. This could define the entire season.
That was an incredible round as well to get us there. Like, Hendo was absolutely cooking at the start, like fully pushing like pixels between the inside of his wheel and the flagpoles. But jdon just seems to have an insane exit after that reactor, carries so much speed. I think possibly even like just holding that kind of speed slide or neo slide, not neo slide, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, just pulled up 2/10 on Hendo and held it all the way to the end. The time was insane. But we do go back on to Bottle of Water. 1 more round to decide it. And I can't really pick a favorite, genuinely. Both players looked equally good. I think it'll come down to the wire. Either a big mistake will decide this, or it'll be thousands over the line.
Absolutely. And this was tense a bit. We've got a 50-second, warm-up to sit through, and then 1 run. That's going to be all it is. And this could define all of BIPL here. Whoever wins this goes in to the next match with massive advantage, knowing if they win, they'll take the championship. And if they don't, then they've, possibly given it all up.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like that's true with Jdon. He has Reno Fella, Koza, and Linksy in his 5th match. And I feel like if he can win this match today, he can win that match, no problem. Hendo, however, has Wizzy to contend with. And Wizzy, historically, has always been at his best towards the end of competitions. So even if Hendo wins this match, I'm not
it's not
sure
easy.
that it's a given that he beats Wizzy. So still all's playful, but one more round to decide it. Potentially, as we've said, to decide BIPL Season 4. Jdon versus Hendo, 1 and 2 in the standings. Double last chance. And we'll see who takes it. Jdon with a good start, about a 10th up, and an equal drift. Close to the outside. Outside dirt, both players pushing it. So close. It looks like that outside tyre is going to touch, but they managed to get through unscathed. Hendo full inside
So
there,
tight.
trying to catch up. And the drift here as we go into the second half of the map. Jdon still with a slim advantage, but everything to play for.
Yeah, it is neck and neck here. Half a 10th between them. Is anyone going to slide out?
Oh, Hendo!
Hendo does! And Jdon has it gifted to him on a plate. All he has to do is just survive one more drift, which he does. Just got this drop down, and he will emerge from this incredibly tough match the winner. He almost lost it at multiple points, but he held it together. And there we go. He will emerge with 4 points from this match. 16 out of 16 so far. And only one more match needed to wrap this up.
The Wet Wheels claims another victim. We've seen so many players. Boz last week, Epos last week, and now Hendo at the crucial time. It looked like he had, had pretty much straightened up, but it was a tiny slide.
Yeah, that was really unlucky for him, I gotta say.
You could I think it was just that one wheel, left rear. And then when he tried to steer into it, just capitulated and couldn't save it. So decides possibly the BIPL winning round, a tough way for Hendo to potentially lose the championship. But Jdon now, I would say, just has to hold on for one more match against significantly weaker opposition than Boz and Hendo. I guess we have to talk about Boz as well. Like, without that mistake on Mr. Seti after Jdon crash, we could be looking at a completely different scenario here, where once again Boz produces the comeback of all comebacks. Alas, it wasn't to happen. That small touch there sending him out. And yeah, a 3rd place might even kick him out of the top 4 here if Epos is able to hold firm in his next match against Acros and Wizzy.
Yeah, they're two people who if he plays like that again, he is at risk of losing to. It has to be said. I'd be intrigued to see the points total at this point, but it's really hard to look at because we've still got 2 more Div 1 matches to play.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of trying to guess where people are going to end up from that, but yeah. Still waiting on results of the other match as well, so this is the only one that has finished.
Okay, I guess with that we can throw to a short break. We will still be sticking with Div 1 here, so the next match coming up on stream will be Round 4, Match 3, which will be contested between Epos, Linksy, Acros, and Wizzy. Another important one, to potentially decide some top 4 positions. I think that will be quite a closely fought affair. So you don't want to miss that one. We'll be back in around 5 minutes or so once we get that match set up. And after that, we will be then streaming one final Division 1 match that will conclude BIPL Season 4. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly.